All right, today we're diving into something truly special. It's one of the most profound verses in the entire Quran, known as Ayat-ul-Kursi, or the verse of the throne. And it's described as something more than just a prayer. It's like a key.
So let me ask you a question. Imagine for a second, what if you held a key? Not just any key, but one that could unlock a hidden spiritual reality. A key that offers protection, deep understanding, and a real, direct connection to the divine. Well, guess what? In Islamic tradition, that key is very real. It's Ayat-ul-Kursi. This single verse is believed to hold an incredible amount of power. We're talking about a spiritual fortress against evil, and it holds the secrets to truly grasping God's ultimate majesty. So yeah, let's dive right in. Okay, so first things first, we really need to get our heads around why this one verse holds such a monumental status. I mean, it's not just any verse. It's widely considered to be the single greatest verse in the entire Quran.
So why is it so significant? Well, it's got a few layers to it. Think of it as a spiritual fortress, something that can push back against even the darkest forces, including Satan himself. It's also this incredible declaration of God's absolute power and knowledge. But here's the really big one. It's believed to contain God's greatest name, the Ism-e-Azam, a name so powerful, they say, that any prayer made with it simply cannot be rejected. In fact, its revelation was so momentous, it's said to have sent a tremor through all of creation. Wow.
Now, descriptions are one thing, but a good story? That's what really makes you feel the power. And there's this amazing, true story from the time of the Prophet Muhammad's companions that shows you exactly what this verse can do. The story centers on this really famous companion, Abu Huraira. It's the holy month of Ramadan, and he's been given a pretty important job, guarding the community's charity. You know, the food, the dates, the grain, all the things that are going to be given to people in need.
3 nights in a row, a thief shows up. The first night, Abu Huraira catches him, but the thief tells this sob story about his starving family, and Abu Huraira's heart melts, so he lets him go. The next day, he tells Prophet Muhammad, who says he lied to you, and he will be back. And sure enough, night 2, the same thing happens. He's caught, he begs, he gets released. And again, the Prophet warns, he's coming back. So by the 3rd night, Abu Huraira is done playing games. He catches the thief and says, that's it, this is the 3rd time you're coming with me to see the Prophet.
Now the thief is cornered, and he gets desperate. He makes this final plea, saying, wait, let me go and I'll teach you something that will benefit you immensely. And then he reveals this incredible secret. He says, when you go to bed to sleep, recite Ayat-ul-Kursi from beginning to end. If you do, a guardian angel will be appointed by God to protect you all night, and no satanic force will come near you until morning.
So the next morning, Abu Huraira tells the Prophet everything that happened. The Prophet listens carefully and then drops this bombshell. He says, you know, for once, he actually told you the truth, even though he is a notorious liar. Then he asks, do you have any idea who you were talking to these past 3 nights? Abu Huraira says no. And the Prophet reveals, that was Shaitan, that was Satan himself. I mean, think about that. That's the ultimate confirmation, right? Even the greatest deceiver was forced to admit the truth about this verse's protective power. That story gives you a sense of its power right here on Earth, on a really personal level. But the name of the verse itself, Ayat-ul-Kursi, points to something way, way bigger, something on a cosmic scale. The word kursi translates to the footstool, or the throne.
So what exactly is the Kursi? Well, it's not like a literal chair you'd have in your living room. Scholars explain it's a symbol. It represents God's limitless authority, his absolute power, and his infinite knowledge that encompasses, well, everything. It's like the boundary of the entire physical universe. Now, to help us wrap our minds around just how huge this is, there's this incredible analogy. I want you to try and picture this. Imagine the 7 heavens, our planet, every galaxy, every star we know of, everything combined. Got it? Now, all of that, compared to the Kursi, is like taking a tiny little iron ring and tossing it into the middle of a vast, empty desert. Our whole universe is just that little ring. The Kursi is the desert. It's just mind-boggling. And just when you think you've grasped that scale, it gets even more immense. That vast Kursi, the desert from our last analogy, is itself like another tiny ring when compared to something even greater, God's Arsh, or the ultimate throne of glory. You know, these analogies aren't meant to be literal maps. They're just there to give our limited human minds a tiny glimpse of the sheer majesty of the Creator. So where does all this power come from? It comes from the profound declarations the verse makes about God's nature. So let's actually break down some of the specific attributes mentioned right inside the verse itself.
Right away, the verse introduces two incredibly powerful names, Al-Hayyul Qayyum. Al-Hayyu means the ever-living, the one who is eternal with no beginning and no end. And Al-Qayyum means the self-sustaining, the one who not only needs nothing, but upon whom the entire cosmos, every atom, every planet, every single heartbeat, depends for its existence, moment by moment.
And then it says this, neither slumber nor sleep overtakes him. Just think about that for a second. We as human beings, we get tired, we need rest. But this is a statement of absolute perfection. The one sustaining the entire universe is ever vigilant. His watchfulness is absolute and never-ending, which is a source of incredible comfort and security for believers.
Okay, so this brings us back to that big secret we mentioned earlier, the Ismi Azam, or God's greatest name. For centuries, scholars and saints have wondered where exactly this ultimate name might be hidden. Now, while it's still considered a divine secret, there's a really strong consensus among many scholars. They point to the combination of the two attributes we just discussed, Al-Hayyul Qayyum. It's believed that calling upon God with these names, Ya Hayyu, Ya Qayyum, is a powerful key to having your prayers answered.
All right, so we've explored the story, the cosmic scale, and the divine attributes. But let's bring it all back down to a practical level. How can you use this key to build your own spiritual fortress? The traditions actually lay out some very clear moments to use it. First, after every one of the 5 obligatory daily prayers. It's said that for someone who does this consistently, the only thing standing between them and paradise is death. Second, just like the story of the thief taught us, recite it before going to sleep for divine protection through the night. And third, recite it when leaving your home, and it's said that angels will guard you until you return. And the verse ends with this powerful declaration that just encapsulates everything we've talked about. It's a final reminder of the ultimate realities, stating simply that God's knowledge, His power, and His majesty are beyond all comparison.
So you see, this verse isn't just a string of words to be recited. It's a tool for protection, a lens for understanding, and a connection to the divine. So I guess the final question is for you. Now that you have the key, which doors will you open?